that would be intellectually correct. Steyn IP.
I forced him to explain it to me once, and I said, "That actually makes sense."
Yeah.
They can link up the
Sound.
the sound with the
And the video. I did it with a friend when I was recording the product last year. He was also, except he didn't have that, so he was clapping his hands in front of me the whole time.
Yeah, I also did that in the beginning, and then Jared actually came and he's like, you know, you need one of these. It's about that high pitch that you can't miss it. I'm like, okay, cool.
But that's perfect.
And it works. Yeah, yes. Anyway. Okay. Well, what do I introduce you as? Shaun or as Dr. Shaun?
I guess I should use my title. I worked for it even though I'm not using it now. Dr. Artist, I don't know.
Doctor.
Yeah, I use my other title, I guess. We work for those things, so I guess we might as well highlight them.
All yours. Okay. Or I'll maybe that's a good way to start it. It's just to say, well, you introduce you, because I feel awkward telling somebody this is Dr. Shaun, and not feeling like you're going to poke and prod at me. So.
No, well, okay, then let me, I guess, introduce myself.
Yeah.
My name's Dr. Shaun Redgard. Was a chemist, so I studied for 10 years. I was a professional student. I enjoyed the waves of the fees must fall and all those joy rides.
Oh, yes.
So I studied for 10 years in Bloemfontein, studied chemistry, so I got a PhD in chemistry. But I realized that wasn't enough for me. So during my PhD, which was actually during COVID, I ended up doing a postgraduate diploma in business administration through WITS at the same time. Mm-hmm. Actually to add structure to the PhD, but nonetheless. So I studied the PDBA and then became a consultant. And then worked as a consultant for about 3 years, and then decided I want to do my own thing. And that's, I guess, the short and sweet of it. But I'm also an artist, or part-time artist, so it's something I dabble in as an extramural activity. But it's not something I did actually full-time. But yeah, I guess the short and sweet of it is PhD in chemistry and an artist part-time.
Okay. And then a full-time business owner.
Oh, yes. And I've obviously started a business, which we'll dive into.
Okay, cool. We've seen each other or bumped into each other quite a few times since our initial meeting at Comic-Con. I love that. You want to do a line with me? That was the thing. I'm like, okay, whatever.
That line's actually still stuck with a lot of people.
You'll get to it when we get to his product. It's not illicit drugs. But it's a good way to catch it. It highlights the emphasis of what branding and trademarks are.
Exactly.
So it's actually quite a cool tagline.
Yeah, the tagline. I use this tagline on my product. Want to do a line because my product is quite novel, and people make assumptions about something that they see for the first time. So you have to stop an individual on their thought process preemptively.
Yeah.
So if I stop them and ask them that line, want to do a line, they have
you've got the attention, 100%.
And I can divert that attention whichever way. I've had actually one person came to one of our markets and had I think a 200 Rand rolled up and asked, where do I do a line? So, I mean, some people do take it, I think, a little bit too literally. I guess it depends how you cut the line.
True. Yeah. No, but the key thing is you make people stop and take notice. And that is something that a trademark especially needs to be able to do. And a lot of trademarks don't have that. They just brand, oh great, it's a pretty brand. Having that power to stop somebody in their tracks and like even for a millisecond, like what? And then go on. That's key to branding. And again, I'm steering off the topic, but no, it's a brilliant tagline. Whether it's not even your core brand, but
my actual slogan is reveal the beauty. So I mean,
well, you can have more than one.
Exactly.
And well, there's a difference between a tagline and a slogan.
Exactly.
No, but it's brilliant because it catches attention for whatever reason. Maybe somebody comes with a 200 Rand note and like okay. Or other people are like, what? Why? Well, no. It's like, no, this is what it is. But you've got their attention.
That's where I sell. It's where the whole concept also with wanting to do a line is that the degree of satisfaction that people take drugs for a sensation, that experience. And that's actually what I'm trying to sell to people is when I tell people to experience my product, I say, I don't need to tell you what it is. Experience it.
Yes.
Feel it. Once you felt it, then I can answer your questions. But it takes you back to like nostalgia. I think before we started talking, we were speaking about it, like with your kid and his Legos. The thing with that is I think we lose that intimate child in ourselves. And that's, I think, where creativity, it's about having that confidence as a child. And I think we lose that in a child sometimes.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people just lose it out of always.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the thing is, you need to find ways of bringing that back.
Yeah.
I'm finding ways of doing it with a product, but I've always tried to trying to get people to stop and enjoy the moment for what it is. For example, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, when my current in-laws, now that I'm married, came past our house. I actually had an Easter egg hunt for them. So my in-laws, who are now, I think 50 and 60, I had hidden Easter eggs and beers in the garden.
Nice.
And seeing the smile and excitement on their faces, at first they were a bit apprehensive because I shouldn't be doing this.
But getting into it.
And the smiles, and you can see everyone was happy, and it's having those moments. We shouldn't only make those moments for others.
No.
It's about trying to share those moments, and that's effectively, I think, the bigger picture of creativity and what we're trying to also achieve with creativity is it's about those small moments. I mean, I'll be at Checkers or ShopRite, and depending on the time of the day, I'll always tell them the opposite time of the day. So if it's afternoon, I'll say morning to them, and some of them will repeat back morning to me.
And some want to correct you.
Yeah, or they'll be like, what are you saying to me? But it's again, and then you create a moment of laughter with them, that moment, because a customer came to me and said morning, but it was afternoon, and I was so confused. Or I'll say, thank you for your order, or please come again. And their reactions, because I say what they normally say, but people become so automated with their reactions that you don't actually stop and enjoy the smaller moments.
Yeah, and I've got a friend and a colleague that does something similar. He always tells people, yes, I'll see you at 9:03.
Why is that?
What? And he never gives you 9 o'clock or 9:30. He's always like this random, or okay, 7:08 tomorrow morning we'll have coffee. And it's like, why 7:08? He's like, you remembered it. It made you think. And it's like, that's weird. And it's that moment. He also says it just creates a moment, a memorable moment, or a fun moment, because people are like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But
and I think it's when you're looking for those moments, I think we look for those moments a lot on social media nowadays. You scroll.
Doom scrolling.
Yeah, doom scrolling. Does your video have a good hook?
Yeah.
And if you don't have someone's attention in your first 3 words or your first reaction on the video, then you've lost them. So how can you create those moments when you have to use, I guess, you have to beat the algorithm to create those moments? I think that's why I think having more intimate moments and I think in-person interactions is where the value is going to really sit for, I think, human culture going forward, because we don't have experiences anymore. Everything is a lived experience. I mean, do you still game?
No, not as much as I used to.
Do you watch gamers? Do you watch streaming?
Sometimes, yeah.
Why? Are you...
Well, because my son watches them, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll watch with you.
I guess so the equivalent of the wife watching Gilmore Girls.
That's it.
I won't get into that. But it's that same principle. We don't appreciate things fully anymore. It's if something doesn't give me instant gratification, I move on. And friendships are the same.
That's the thing.
So I think the bigger picture of what I'm also playing at here is our habits. We've created habits of optimization. But in those habits of optimization, there's trade-offs in every sense. And those trade-offs are what's actually, I think, holding us back. I forgot there's some principle with IQ that they said the IQ's now started to drop with the current generations, with the Gen Zs and stuff. But it's the environment and the ecosystems that they live in. If everything's optimized and everything's convenient, when are you ever going to... There's no struggle.
Yeah.
And creativity and success and innovation and entrepreneurship lives in struggle.
No, that's true. Yeah, and I actually heard a very interesting discussion, and I'm not taking credit for what I'm going to say next because it wasn't me. but yeah, and I think it's I can't remember who it was, but in an interview somebody asked this gentleman, like, who's the smartest person you know? And people always jump to like, no, it was Steve Jobs, or it is Elon Musk, or then he's like, I can't answer that, because what we regard as smart in the previous generation will not be smart, because smart was usually who's able to fix this or sort this out or code this software for me, but AI can do that. So what is the value? And he said the most valuable mind asset would be somebody that can predict what's around the corner. Somebody that can predict the outcomes of all of this that AI can't predict. And that guy would probably not even score good, he said SATs, but his IQ test would be very low, but he has that EQ ability that people won't. So our adaptation of what will be regarded as smart, what will be the valuable traits in humans are going away, because we're all this instant gratification. What's important to people is different. You don't need a guide to code, because with the correct software coding algorithms and LLMs and stuff, you'll be able to do this. So the IQ dropping, or them saying the IQ is dropping, is not necessarily meaning people are getting less intelligent. Intelligence is just maybe shifting towards something different, because let's be honest, the IQ tests and the SATs, that everybody, those things are 60 years old.
I mean, I think the Myers-Briggs and the personality tests also.
Yeah, it's outdated.
But if you look a lot of those things are just based on assumptions and face value.
That's true.
And
you can cheat them.
Exactly. So I think that's the thing with intelligence as well is, I mean, real intelligence, I think, is if you need a beta system, you don't play within the system. You play outside the system.
True.
You manipulate the system to work to your... That's the best way to win in any regard. I mean, if you look at what they did in F1, I mean, that is creativity. Mm-hmm. Like, I used to watch F1 when I was a kid, but I get a lot of the content coming up on my TikTok. But seeing what they did to overcome and find a loophole, that's creativity, because you had to find a way to work outside the system. Mm. Because if you played within the system, then everyone would have been playing on the ground. You're competing with everybody on the same level. You need something additional. I love F1, and I know there's a lot of moves. Yeah, I think they've reverted now again.
And the changes, and it's always, and it's a good analogy you have. You always see somebody jumping out with something, and then everybody else trying to copy it. You found a loophole. You thought outside the box, and then them trying to find it. And that's F1.
What's the lovely quote from Batman? I think with Harvey Dent. You either see yourself become the villain.
Oh yeah, you either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
It's essentially that. So the guys complain about F1 rules. Everyone was complaining, but the team that won, they had a grin on their face. And now everyone either had to join into that, or they have to revert the system. So it shows you.
No, that's the thing, and that happens everywhere. F1 is just one of the examples, and you need to be different and outside. And taking back to TikTok, you mentioned TikTok. Everybody jumps into this is what works, and everybody's videos looks exactly the same. Until there's one guy that tries something completely different, and then a month later everybody's doing what he does. So everybody follows the guy that refuses to follow, which is...
It's quite ironic. Yeah. But I mean, it's also the reality is, how many successful companies are there? Really? It's the ones that you see.
Yeah, it's the ones that you see.
You can't really put a number on it. I mean, even in South Africa, in Gauteng, I can't tell you how many successful businesses there are.
No. I can tell you there's more than people think.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's, the ones that people see, the ones that people talk about. And they are not necessarily the most successful. They are mainly the most visible.
Exactly. And then visibility gets traded off as success.
Yeah, which is not always accurate.
So again, how do you create that, I think, value within the market to actually have your business seen? trying to be creative at the same time.
Yeah, it's difficult.
So yeah, I think it's tough in South Africa also to, even have a business, even within the creative space. I think you should be able to see it. I think when we were at Comic-Con, you saw how much, I think you were seeing how many counterfeit goods there. And even before, and that's at a big event.
Yeah.
Now, if you go look at even the smaller craft markets and stuff, your Irene market, or even if your small markets that occur, I guess, either every weekend or end of every month, most of those markets have at least either 25% counterfeit goods or more. Yeah, I'm trying to be conservative.
Yeah, you're very nice.
But also you'll have duplicate stalls there, and then on top of that you'll have stall owners. I understand that they're trying to be creative and they're trying to sell their own product as well. But then you have products that are coming essentially from Shein and Temu.
Oh yeah, you see that more and more. Take the Rand Easter show a few weeks ago. It was basically Shein and Temu resold every second stand. And on top of that, you've got an issue where somebody comes and they are 100% creative. And then there's somebody else that just copies them. Which is, it's still infringement, it's still counterfeit. And people believe, but no. It's not, because it's somebody local. And it's like, okay, and we see that so often. One guy copies, and that guy that copies tries to then, if somebody copies him, he's up in arms. No, it's...
But you see, it's, from what I've seen, it's all about visibility.
Yeah, no.
And it depends how visible your business is. And I think when I was speaking to you, when we were trying to look at having this podcast, I told you that I thought the theme of what we should talk about was are we commoditizing creativity?
Yeah. And
this speaks to that in different levels. From the Shein aspect, you're looking at you competing with Chinese volume, and they give you that offer of customization. Add a picture, add words. Similar what you can get with Netflix and other things in South Africa, but it's significantly cheaper.
It is.
I think the trade statistics for 2024, Shein and Temu made up about 33% of online sales for clothing related apparel and shoes and stuff.
That's probably more by now.
Exactly. So now if you're looking at those kind of statistics, what does that mean for the local craft industry? Now you're pushing prices lower, and now creators are being forced to get their product in at a lower price where they may not even have margins in.
Yeah.
And now that people say, oh no, but I can do this myself. Oh no, I can get this on Shein.
Yeah.
And when people believe they can get something else similar somewhere else, then it becomes a commodity at the end of the day. Then you're fighting on price. It's like milk. The milk farmer doesn't make the money. The retailer makes the margins. But they're fighting on commodity prices for the milk, and I think they argue over cents.
Yeah,
so I feel like the same thing is occurring within the creative space in South Africa.
It is.
Globally, I think Etsy's even seen a drop off where they had to, block a number of users for AI use or infringement and copyright. So if your visual of the market, if you go to a market on the weekend, and your assumption is if I'm going there and I'm only going to see your guy selling all the counterfeit goods.
Yeah, you're just going to stop going.
Why am I going to go? Yeah. Time is money as well. I only have 2 days a weekend. So now why am I going to go to a market and I'm going to see counterfeit goods? I'll maybe go there for a worsbroodje.
Yeah. But wait, I can buy my own worsbroodje.
You understand?
No, and the thing about Shein and Temu, look, not dissing it. It's a market. There's space for it. But yes, it is taking away from local creatives. And strange thing is, Shein and Temu in that industry can be viewed as AI. So AI is basically doing the same thing. And I'm not pushing this to AI. There's enough AI discussion. But why I'm just mentioning the analogy is, I had a discussion with one of our creative clients, brilliant animator, yesterday, and he said he's struggling getting animation jobs because people come and say, I can do this myself. So he needs to and he's a creative, he needs to refocus his creative skills to, okay, great, where can you not get this? Where can you not do X, Y, and Z? Where am I better than AI? And where can I create stuff that you won't be able to get on Temu and Shein? What do I offer? Yes, I still need to be profitable. So yes, you can get us cheap on Temu, but what's the risk? What do I offer you over and above? And it's ridiculous, but that's the industry and that's the market and that's the world we're living in. And creatives need to find that one thing that what forces people to rather come to me than trying to do it themselves. Because, look, trying to do it, same here. People can file a trademark themselves. Please don't. Why? Why don't you do it yourself? Not trademarks, creative design, video, animation, whatever. Why should you not do it yourself? Because the person that is able to do it properly will be the one that stands out. If everybody uses Shein to do it, they're all going to look cheap. So the one that actually gets the creative to do it is the one that's going to be more visible. Circles back to visibility.
But I think, I fully agree with what you're saying, but the only element that's missing is the LSM.
That's true.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, I'm busy patenting this product, and even understanding the whole patent route, especially going to an international point, it's complicated.
No, yeah, it is.
And on top of that, you still have to deal with the people politics as well, of the lawyers, of external opinions at the same time.
Yeah.
So when you're funneling all that information, you need to also ensure that you find someone who's reliable.
That's the thing.
And a lot of people don't have that ability to distinguish if someone's reliable or not. So, I mean, I think, everyone says nowadays, you fake it till you make it. And I think if you talk to a lot of people, if you actually ask them their questions, and they don't do politicking when you talk to them, and you ask them a question, then they answer something else. And you actually ask them to see if they actually understand what they're talking about. Most people don't.
No, most people wing it. And that's the thing. And and look, I can talk about IP in that sense. We see a lot, and I'm not stepping on toes, but we see a lot of people and other lawyers, not IP lawyers, filing trademarks for clients. Simple enough, great. The amount of things we need to fix because they miss the basics, they miss the key things, or they misinterpret what X, Y, and Z says, and then it's like, okay, great, you have somebody who can do it cheaper. You can do it cheaper yourself, but what do you offer up? What do you lose from doing it? And we know what we're doing. We can advise you correctly. And yes, my advice will differ in some degree from the other IP attorney because my approach is different. My view is different. My experience is different. I might have different channels. You talk about international patenting. The channels and the process I follow to patent something internationally versus, and you don't get an international patent, so don't ask for one. There's a process.
And it's not a global patent.
It's not a global patent. It's
you don't get global patents.
Patent. Just, I know we're going to get it. No. But let's, for sake of it, internationally patented. There's different avenues you can take. There's different approaches you can take. I might have a different experience than the guy down the road that's also a patent attorney. So our advice would slightly differ. But when you say, okay, great, now I talk to you, the politics are gone. At the end of the day, I need to know what I'm talking about. The fundamentals will remain the same. And that's how you identify who knows what they're doing. How you identify who uses Shein or Temu, or who is the actual creative with his own printer at home, or who still makes their own garments. Why?
But you see, how do you
it gets difficult to identify
it, right? Because I think you can even say how difficult it is trying to remove the counterfeit goods from Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to any of the other markets, I think some of the markets like your field market and your London and some of the other markets, that's curated and they select their people. That's why if you go to those markets, you'll see they've got a following.
Actually proper crafters markets.
You can argue some that the margins aren't always great for the vendors in some cases, but I mean, you can see that there's the foot traffic. The market vendors or the markets are actually doing I think, the upfront marketing efforts. A lot of the other market and craft venues that I've even been to, they haven't, I don't know if it was just maybe for the past year, but the foot traffic at these markets have died down.
Yeah.
I spoke to some vendors that asked them, how was their performance last December versus this December? And before, I mean, a lot of them spoke to me before December, and they said, no, their sales were great, you know, they had record sales last December. And then this past December, January, I asked them, how did it go?
Nope. Yeah.
And the biggest difference of that was essentially Yoshino and Timu that came into the market. And then also AI. So, I mean, when someone can show you a design that they want to create and put onto your product to create, it's great, but there's a shelf life to it. And I feel like using AI in your products, you're effectively discounting your brand a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great to help. I mean, but if there's, you can see the aesthetic of AI being used.
Yeah, you can identify, you can see whose images are AI generated. It doesn't have
And captions.
Yeah.
I mean, captions we all hate,
like,
but I mean,
it's like you have the key things to identify, and if you know what you're looking for, you can see it. But images are, you see the same trends. All the AI generated people look exactly
the same.
This weird concept. And
but it's FOMO. It's a fear of missing out.
That's the thing. And I'm like, just look. I'm open. Use AI. I'm not against AI. Use it ethically and honestly. If you use AI, be honest about it. If you use AI, be ethical about it. Understand what the implications are and understand what the ownership implications are, because using AI has an impact on your ownership of intellectual property. Not going into that now. And the same, and I think we can bring the same to Shein and Temu and other platforms like that. Use it. I'm not saying don't. It's a brilliant place to find things that you can't find somewhere else. To find accessibility, but use it ethically and honestly.
There are trade-offs with anything, but I think it's being aware of those kind of trade-offs. I mean, you can maybe use ChatGPT as your patent attorney, but again, it will only get you that far.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what's being said, and I think that's where you were speaking to also earlier with where are people going to find themselves in the space. And I think creativity as a whole is going to be where real value is going to be for people going forward.
Yeah.
Creativity, not in terms of only in terms of art, but in terms of processes, in terms of interactions, in terms of community. Because as much as we've become more connected, we're actually a lot more disconnected. And that's purely because we've optimized trying to have everything be a fast process. So we've optimized for pace and speed, but we've lost depth in the process.
Yeah. We don't do this.
Yeah.
We do that. A silly analogy, and my wife and I spoke about it over the last weekend. When last were you in a shop? You order everything. And think about who did you use. And when I grew up, you went to Spa after church on Sundays. And you in Spa after church on Sunday, you would see everybody there talking to each other.
Exactly.
You would maybe even see Oma there, and Oma, great. Mom, can I go
get something at the bakery as well?
I'm going to Oma. Okay, cool. But we don't have that anymore. My son's grandparents, my mother-in-law lives next to us. Brilliant. It's a good idea. If you like your in-laws. And usually, and I mean, it's brilliant. My son goes scared there, but it's like, hi mom, can Yaku come? Yaku's my son. Like, she's next door. Usually you would walk there, but the entire world has changed towards that. We feel we're connected, but we're actually just easily accessible. It's not.
No, it's about everything's output driven.
Yeah.
It's, I want to have an interaction with you. I want this. So it's also becoming a lot more individualistic.
Yes.
Because of this work from home culture, all your influences are about be your own businessman. I mean, I'm starting my own business. I've got a PhD, and I will say starting a business is more difficult.
Yeah. No.
So I mean, it's great to tout that, but it's not necessarily for everyone. I mean, when you actually I won't use the terminology I want to use, but when you're really in the trenches, it's a different experience. So it's not for everyone. And that entrepreneurship, when you push with that, the creativity and how you have to problem solve becomes, that's what I enjoy, is using creativity to solve problems for the business, for the product, whatever it is. Where I think for a lot of people, creativity for a lot of people is advised or indoctrinated, if you will.
Yeah.
Because with creativity comes choice. Everything at the end of the day is choice. We believe we're making our choices, but we're not. I think I'm a married man. Do you choose what you're having for supper?
I've been a married man longer than you. I refuse to answer that question.
Plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth. Sometimes. But yeah, no, that's true. You have this illusion of choice. I'm not saying in marriage. I mean, in life, in creativity, there's this illusion of choice, and everything is influenced by everything else, and even more so now. Just on that, if you're a creative, and like in your case, but especially in people that do commissioned work, how many times do people come to you and like, hey, can you draw something for me? Yeah, sure. It must look like this. Like, but why do you go to an artist to copy something? You go to an artist and a creative they are the creative. They have their own abilities. They have their own niche. Use it. And I think that's also something that, again, it's this instant need of gratification and this, I want to be part of the trend. We all want to follow the trend.
But people aren't taught to not follow the trend.
No, that's true. We by default want to fit in. It's how human society has been surviving for a lot of years. It's a survival instinct we have, but there's different trends. And I remember when I was, I think at university, I'm not going to say when that was, years ago, there was this social study, was a biography or something that guy did, and it's what stuck in my mind is it was this, okay, great, he said people are designed to try and fit in, and he had this one guy tattooed everything inside a group of people suited up, and the question was, who doesn't fit? And everybody's like, the tattoo guy doesn't fit. And then the tattoo guy walks from the screen to a screen where there's a bunch of tattooed guys like him, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden we're comfortable. All of a sudden that feeling you have, like that guy doesn't fit there, you like I want to say disgust. You have this weird, like, something's wrong there. The same person you had that feeling towards, you lost that feeling because, like, oh, there's a group of people fit, they're all the same, and you disregard the fact that and if you put a guy with a suit in between the guys, like you would have the same feeling, but because of the person that doesn't fit in. And that came down to, we designed as humans to have conformity, to be like that. And that's, steering off. But that's the thing. And that feeds this. Everybody jumps on the AI train. Everybody jumps on the Shein and the Temu train because we've got this fear of not fitting in. Not fear of not or FOMO. It's a fear that we're going to be the ones left behind, the ones that don't fit into. But we forget that, okay, find the group that actually wants to support the creatives, then fit in there.
But you see, it's finding those communities.
Yeah.
I think we've got so much information being splashed at us every day. How many adverts are being shouted at you? So I think, you also have to make a choice at the end of the day, what you want to see. We are sponges and we absorb everything, whether we want to know it or not. Everything plays into our personality and our habits. Yeah. And you need to, I think with creativity going forward, that's, I think, why you'll see a lot of these Montessori type schools and stuff popping up, because those spaces have realized the need for hands-on tactile experiences again. The biggest thing that I think made most people succeed is putting yourself in tough situations. An artist doesn't create something beautiful when he's sitting at the seaside. He has to go through his own internal turmoil and process his emotions and patterns and stuff and express that. That's when you get a really beautiful piece of art that you can see the emotions being displayed.
And the emotion is key.
Yeah, you can carry it across.
Yeah. AI doesn't have emotion.
As much as you try, it doesn't.
There's no way. That's why you can identify something wasn't human made, because the emotion thing is something that you can't teach a machine. And you won't ever be able to do it.
I don't think so, and I think that's where creativity is going to play, both with AI and other solutions. Creativity is going to be more so a process-driven, I think, skill.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily about coming up with the best solution. I mean, you can look at, I was a consultant. You can see all these management consultants. They are force-fed certain structures and frameworks to do, and that's all they do.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you take long or you think outside that process, you are a black sheep there, because you're not fitting the pattern. But sometimes because you're outside the pattern, that's where
the success is.
That's where innovation, that's where success, where creativity lies, because creativity and success relies on mistakes to occur.
Yeah.
You can't create something if you're not willing to take on risk, if you're not willing to fail at something. And that's where creativity lies. We've tried to eliminate risk in every form, which yes is great,
but
from a structural point of view.
But not from a creative point of view.
No. And I think you can see that in professions, because your profession, because it's your habit, it's the way you think every day, it carries through. So if you look at an accountant, tell me how many creative and expressive accountants you know.
2.
Exactly, and,
and I know a lot of accountants, and there's like 2.
And I assume they're quite eccentric as well.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're going to be on the extreme.
Yeah.
Because your habits, you practice to be boxed in every time. Check, left, right, is everything balancing? But with creativity or art spaces or something like marketing, where there's a lot more ambiguity and uncertainty, you see creativity.
Yes.
But also everyone undervalues the marketing department because it doesn't have direct KPIs.
Yes. People try and measure marketing by what's my return on investment. I'm like,
you can't.
Because marketing, I talk from my own experience. We're a law firm. How do you market a law firm? You can't say, there's an ad. People aren't going to buy a trademark because they see it like you buy a chocolate when you see it. It's getting the name out there, making its brand recognition. Our marketing is being recognized for when somebody has a trademark. There's no way, there might be some complicated way to estimate that this marketing affected that. But there's no KPI.
Yeah.
And there's no ROI on that. KPI and ROI, if you don't know, Google it. But because there's no direct link. And it's in actually any industry there. And one thing that's key, and I think people should really understand this, is creativity is not just visual beauty. Creativity, like you say, it's the one person that you're creative if you can find an alternative. You look at something different. Creativity can be in administration. It can be numbers. It doesn't need to be a beautiful creative thing like we traditionally see it. I think, look, Elon Musk, like him or hate him, that guy's creative. He finds things that, no, this can't work. He's like, look, boom, there it works. Landing a rocket back.
But he takes first principles, and it's again, he pushes the limits of expectation.
Yes.
Because no one's done it before, the assumption is you can't do it.
Yeah, and
I can say the same thing about my product. People say no, they don't know that you can carve into color. So the assumption is no, that's not right.
Impossible.
They think it's paper or it's glued. So it's the same thing with Elon. He takes it down to first principles. What do you need to achieve your goal, to land the rocket? Just use the essentials, because it's about taking away the layers.
Yeah, and he's quite good at that.
Just using the basics. And it's the same with this. It's revealing the beauty, revealing the layers, revealing actually what you need. We've tried to optimize and innovate, but in some cases we've over-optimized, over-innovated. Like, do we really need any more avo peelers and onion peelers?
No.
Or an onion container?
The one I like the best is the one that my mom and grandmother have, things like that, because it works.
You know what I do? I go old school. I take out my pit and I use a knife and I hold the avo like this, So I like to be on the risk. So if I ever pace too far, I might cut my hand.
I have a peeler. I'm like a peeler.
No, like just a normal.
Yeah, you do that. You hit it with the knife and you
make the lines.
That's the thing. No, and I remember, and again, Elon, he mentioned that where you say it's over optimization. He had this discussion. I can't remember. I think it was with the everyday astronaut. If you follow that's awesome. And he said, his key thing is take things away. If you don't have to add something again, you didn't take things enough away. Because people tend to, and I remember he had the steps, and I'm probably quoting it wrong, he had the steps to say, people tend to design and then build it. He's build it and then design from there, because if it breaks, you know what's wrong. The tactile, the hands-on, and then you can add things to it to fix, because sometimes you have 10 things you don't need, and the only way you know you don't need
I mean, look at a Ford engine.
Oh my yes.
That's the easiest way to. I've seen how many Ford engines break down, and if you try and look into that engine to access anything, it's impossible.
No, it's like a bonnet under a bonnet. It's like
exactly, because it's been designed to go to a service center.
Yeah. Where my Foller engine, Beetle, that thing great, it's broken. You literally pull it out and you fix it and you put it back in and you go. Anybody with that much ability, and nowadays with YouTube, would be able to service those old school.
You'll be surprised nowadays with all cars going automatic. So now again,
I hate automatics.
I hate automatics as well. And again, it's like for the youth. I hated learning to drive a car for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't think I felt so much pressure and disappointment or whatever from my parents at that moment, because you pressing the brake, like you're pressing the clutch, you decide to accelerate and you haven't even put the gear in, and it's just that chaos. Like learning how to work in that chaos and find the process to be able to find flow and actually be able to drive. Now I drive and I feel like I'm Max Verstappen, but it's now when you take away that quality of learning to drive it, fine, you can get an automatic in the future, but you need to learn to drive
old
first.
School, yes, exactly.
And I think the government should also, play a larger role potentially in, supporting people in their decisions. I mean, if you look at what the UK has done, it's controversial, but they are introducing, from any kids born after 2009, I think it was, are banned from owning cigarettes or vapes. None. They're not allowed to have or own or touch anything. It's illegal for them.
Yeah.
So
they at least have the enforcement.
Yeah, you can't really enforce anything.
Only as good as the enforcement. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Good
veering off the point. But it's a lot comes down to government and authority. And authority doesn't need to be government, to be clear. But it needs to come down to the authority making the decision. A school deciding, yes, government dictates X, Y, and Z, but we as the school decide to still have this type of art at school, or do that, or have this, to reignite and reteach that importance of creativity, importance of learning, importance of something silly like driving stick.
But you see, all these experiences are being locked into your ultra wealthy private schools. I don't know what the schools are. Your
Model A's.
Yeah, your 400 grand a year schools, where they actually offer, where the kids have choice to choose from a range of extracurricular activities.
Which brings you back to creativity is becoming a commodity. People, only the ultra wealthy, unless we stop it and actually go as society and say, you know what, we need to support creativity above simplicity, above ease of access.
But how do you do that when you're fighting your financial?
Yeah, it's this.
So, but you see, that's where the whole issue even sits. It's fine. People need to spend their money more productively.
That's true.
But also, if you look at the same time, where are people spending? If you look in South Africa, where's most of the money going now lately?
Yeah. Honestly,
I bet you I know.
Where?
I just told you. Betting.
Betting. That's
Because look at how the betting market has grown so much. I think it's a $10 billion rand
true.
market now. And now they're adding regulation. But why are people gambling?
Because
And why is it so
they-
big in
yeah.
South Africa? Because they're looking for experiences. They're looking for connection. When South Africans fight and complain, that's when community brings us together. Then that's when we all talk.
That's true.
So now you're sitting in a situation where things are fine. I mean, the government is still ineffective. We can't spend our money on anything really because it either costs too much to go somewhere, or you go to Cape Town and 90% of the place is Airbnbs for international people. So the opportunities also for South Africans to enjoy South Africa. I mean, I'm never going to probably go to the Kruger Park because of the cost. I mean, I think for a 3-night stay there, you're looking at like 20K or whatever, unless you go camping. But I know it's more exclusive, so you have to go to Dino Keng rather.
Yeah.
So I think finding where creativity can be of value for everyone is, I think, where the difficulty, I think, is going to lie going forward. I mean, IKEA has been a great success. IKEA with their builder model. And I think they've been more successful than everyone else because it condenses the space. You have the full visualization of the product in store, but it gives the user the opportunity to go and fight and struggle at home, find an extra screw or too little. But you have a moment with that IKEA table.
And you feel like, oh, I made it.
I made it. But I mean, if you bought that same table, or a table even double the value, but that was made.
Yeah, it's not, there's a thing about being, and look, I love Lego, you didn't notice. Lego is also part of that.
They brought in all this
ability-
adult Lego nowadays.
Yeah, it also, and my son got a Concorde, it's like that long. Guess who had to build it? I don't mind. But the fact is that accomplishment that, yeah, I built this. There you go. Display it in the house. My wife luckily said yes. but it's there on the piano, standing for everybody to
It's
see.
aesthetic.
And it's, if you bought a model, it would have been, no, look, he's got a model. But I built this.
Exactly, and I think that's where the creativity needs to go going forward. I mean, I was at Hobby X last year, we exhibited there, and when we were there was a pop-up stall that some guys did, a Lego stall, where all they did was they just got franchise rights from Lego to sell there, and they coined it.
Yeah.
And because it's a craft, and the dads that come there, it's something they understand.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were also your knockoff Legos that were there as well. But that market's pushing because people can carve it and create it themselves. But I mean, if you look at all these digital prints and stuff that you can buy online,
It's not the same.
It's not the same. You're buying beauty, but there's no connection
There's
to
no
it.
connection. That's the thing. And look, I think it was, again, Rancho. The last show. The Lego is at almost the Lego users lug is at every place. They've got a pit and you can come build something. Guess who's there? My age guys. It's like,
Yeah.
let's build. Oh, look, I built something. Can I take this home? No, but you can buy, and it's a
great tactic.
That ability to create. And look, you get a lot of platforms like that. You get communities like that. The firm is involved with is Anime After Hours, which is a group of wealthy business people, mainly Japanese, South African Japanese people, that they decided, you know what, anime and manga
That's their passion.
is their passion. This is something that needs to stay. This is a creativity that needs to be fed. And they created this platform where it's like, if you're a South African artist, or you're just somebody that loves anime and manga, join the community and we all have this connection. And you get similar things. Lug is one of them. It's a group of grown men and women all over the world. Lug is massive, connecting over building plastic blocks. And you get those communities in any industry if you go and look at it. And if you're like, but where do I find them? Do yourselves a favor. Go onto whatever platform, social media platform you use, and go reset your browsing history. And go search for the things you are actually interested in. And you'll be surprised how the feed changes.
How different your algorithm is as well.
Your algorithm gets impacted by you staying 1 millisecond longer on one video than the other one, and then everything shifts there.
And you think you have choice.
No, you don't. And I do this with students quite a lot if we do lectures. I'm like, you think your last experience was unique. Your last experience was probably something you saw online. When last did you go to somebody, oh, have you seen this? And they didn't say, oh, yes, I have. Why? Because your experience was his experience as well. We don't have unique experiences anymore.
I mean, even songs. Like, when last did you hear a pop song or something that everyone really enjoyed? Like, globally.
No.
Like your Rihanna, Shine Like a Diamond or whatever. Maybe like Eminem back in the day. Like something that everyone
that
rallied the
masses.
world. Waka Waka, you know. I think we've focused, I mean, even movies.
Ugh.
If you look perfectly at movies, is a great example of commoditized creativity.
Yeah.
All the Avenger movies.
Yeah, well,
because
stop watching it after a while because it's the same plot, the same thing. That's why I'm so excited about Project Hail Mary that's coming out, where they went back to manual puppetry and original creative storytelling.
I think, what's Nolan's first name? With him now doing Gladiator.
Yeah.
Where they used, I think they had 5,000 stand-ins for a fight scene. They were doing recordings at sea, and it's on IMAX, it's all filmed. And it's that originality and it's that choice to stick with your path when everyone else is saying no.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most difficult thing. And sometimes it's a fine line.
It's not always but failure is part of the process. And I think people forget that. Especially I'm not saying, us, but especially the younger generation that did not experience that as much as we would have. And I think you're maybe just slightly younger than me, but
I carry my age well.
Yeah, well.
How old are you now?
40.
Okay, I'm 33.
Yeah, okay, so
not too far.
But still, you've seen the struggle.
I came from both ends.
But my son, well, I go in to show him that, to help him experience that, but his generation, they want everything now.
Instant.
They don't know how to fail.
It's also, think of the marshmallow experiment. That's the best way, I think, to define the intellect for the future. When seeing that the intellect has dropped, it's because of that. Because the world's now been built for instant gratification, for the marshmallow to be eaten now.
Yeah.
That we aren't being trained to wait for the marshmallow.
Yeah.
We are being trained to want only one marshmallow.
Yeah.
And if you do that, no one's ever going to be able to succeed.
If you don't know what a marshmallow experiment is, put one marshmallow down in front of a kid. Tell him if he waits 5 minutes, he can get a second one. We would wait.
Yeah.
Most new kids just eat a marshmallow. That's what a marshmallow experiment is.
Again,
again,
they followed the people after 20 years,
and
they noted those people were actually the ones who were successful in their careers.
No, and it's key. Look,
that's why it's habits. Your habits as a child.
Yes, and it's like I'm saying, we teach our child to do that. It comes down to you as a grown up having to decide, listen here, I choose creativity over ease. Not everywhere. I'm not saying do that everywhere, but at least somewhere. Go towards this is important. It is important to have the skill. It is important to respect creativity over slop. Again, I'm not saying I'm not dissing AI. There's spaces for everything. But look, okay, you can't see this, but that's a hand-painted painting. You can create that by AI, but it's not going to have the same emotion.
No. It's that emotional connection. Yes. It's telling the story,
and it's the flaws as well. It's like not the 5 fingers that AI flaws, but I can see that human. I can feel it. I know this guy drew it there and this is what happened there, and that's also in digital. Not AI generated, but digital art has the same impact because it's still somebody that went there
and put the effort to
and
create
put the effort on it. And and again, like I said, creativity is everywhere. It's not just in the beauty, but it's in the functionality. It's in the finding a solution, finding a way around what everybody else is just following.
But it should also only be for a moment, I think, in some cases. I think...
Don't pour yourself into the struggle, because then you're just struggling.
I wanted to highlight, when you were speaking, it reminded me of something else. I forgot the actor's name now, who passed away, a famous 90s or 80s actor, where they're using his voice.
Oh, yes. Mufasa's voice.
No, it wasn't Mufasa. It was a white actor guy, always in the action movies. I think he was in Top Gun as well, I think.
Yes. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember.
I forgot his name as well.
Yeah, same.
But they used...
Google it and comment.
But they used his voice in a movie, and the family signed off on it. Which, yes, it's great to maybe extend his career a little bit further, but you're diluting it then. It's the same thing why many artists' art increases in value when they die. Because the story cannot be told again. Because it's limited.
It's exclusivity.
Yeah, there's exclusivity.
And I think that's actually something that the generations, and not younger, but any generation, and us as a community and a society, going towards the Sheens and the Temus, going towards AI-generated content, we lose exclusivity. And exclusivity is value.
And exclusivity is identity.
Yes, and people forget that. And look, you can see a big movement in some areas away from that. So I don't think it's a bubble that's going to burst, probably. Not falling away completely, but the reliance thereon hopefully will be less.
You know, I mean, like, I see Sheena and Timo are great.
Yeah, no.
It's a great business.
Don't get me wrong.
They should create a team for South Africa.
Yes.
And industrialize, I don't know, have an industrial hub or something. Have a bunch of warehouses in Durban or wherever, and create a similar kind of industry or something for the country. Yeah. Where you can maybe have a wholesale supplier, because that's what they're effectively doing.
Yeah.
But all the sales, all that revenue is going outside the country.
That's the thing. Like, you know, so it's...
You can't beat them, join them,
It's a value thing, yeah. And I mean, we've got Takealot. Takealot and Temu is... Takealot, Temu... Shein, all those things are e-commerce platforms that sell other people's things. So we have a platform that must just adapt. If we go down the adapt or die argument, we're also going to go forever. Look, it's. I think everything boils down to that. It's the creativity, the commodity side, that we forget that where the value lies. We choose cheap, not cheap in the sense of, look, because it's not cheap in the sense of it's low quality necessarily, but we choose, remember I said the Concorde, and I think this is also quite an interesting thing. A Concorde could fly across the ocean in a fraction of the time, but it was slightly more expensive, but it died out because people are like, I'll rather buy a cheaper ticket, and the volume and the big...
But you know, they brought it back. They were looking at bringing it back again.
But it's a private company, and it's not, it feels sometimes like us going for the easy, cheap, more cost effective, easily accessible route kills the progress. But that's because if risk we're sitting with.
The reason I see that happening is because of the people they choose to allow to run the company. If your experience is in law and trademark law mainly, right? So if I put you in a stressed position on law stuff, what's what's your default reaction going to be?
Oh no, I love it. I thrive. But
I'm just like you're stressed. Like for me, I'm a researcher and an artist. So normally if I tend to get stressed, I tend to want to go into research to find an answer. Get lost there.
To me, it's writing something.
You understand? So
and then it's that applying your mind onto, okay, great. Finding one of the 5 possible solutions to this, just throwing yourself into, okay, you're stressed. throw yourself into what you're good at, and then your mind goes at ease.
Yeah, so if you think of any of the big companies over the last few years where there's been a struggle, look at Nike, look at Starbucks. The people that they appointed, the CEOs that they appointed in those roles were either accountants or engineers.
Yeah.
So people who don't understand the indirect value, the intrinsic value of art and aesthetics and creativity and the user journey. If you don't understand the user journey and the process that someone's going through, you lose. Like Nike said, okay, well, we did so great. It's 2020. We're going to put we're going to only do online sales. We're getting rid of our distribution hub.
Why would you do that?
Now they think, okay, well, because now everyone can buy directly from us because everyone's buying online.
No.
But again, it's visibility.
Yeah, and the guy that buys Nike is not a guy that wants to just go online.
And you don't know where they are when they're buying those shoes.
Yeah.
So it's again that visibility. So when you hire someone who doesn't understand that view, where they're only looking at the cost benefit the whole time, they lose out.
Yeah.
And the same thing, look at Bacomo now. I don't know if you saw the whole Bacomo, the Pro Neutro drama and the chocolate. Now they decide to be like, oh no, let's make it cheaper because equipment's too expensive. Fine, now you change the recipe, now no one enjoys it.
Yeah.
So now...
Sometimes doing what everybody, like streamlining something, is the wrong choice. That's there's many things like
sometimes keeping the wrong way is the right way.
Being the wrong way is the right way. That's actually a good. I think that's a good way to start, because I'm like, oh wow, we're going on. So no, and look, we haven't even gone into your product. But I think we can definitely chat over and over about this, and I think we can definitely have more. But I think quickly
quickly get
highlight your product. We don't. I mean, and this is one of those things where you have to experience it. You can't just see it. Yeah. It's something you need to experience.
Well, maybe just to tell you shortly what it is. So this is the product. It's a sheet. It's a PVC sheet. So it's a plastic sheet, and it's got different layers of color on the side of the sheet. So think of it like rocks with different layers of strata, so different colors of rock. And if an excavator goes into it, he picks out the ground. And the deeper you dig into it, you'll get the different colors coming through. So that's essentially what this product does. You use a carving tool, and you carve into the sheet.
You do lines.
Yeah, you do lines. And you do repetitive lines. It's an endless supply of lines. And as you dig, you carve into the sheet and you reveal the colors. And you can either use force and really carve into it and get your frustrations out, dig through 2-3 colors, or you can take a more passive approach and try and achieve a flow state, and you can carve one color by one color and progressively carve through. And all you need is one of the sheets and a carving tool. No paint, nothing else. And then you carve, and it's something fun to do even at your desk. So maybe just to show, so this is my personal diary with our slogan on Reveal the Beauty. Everything's been carved out. And then a small notebook, where you carve your cover, put some epoxy on this design, but it's all been carved out. And like this, we put the product onto notebooks, because the thought was, what everyone says, don't judge a book a cover. That was terrible. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes, Yoda.
You can clearly see I've been talking too long. So don't judge a book by its cover, and I say, why not? So you can actually carve and enjoy the feel on the front. And I mean, mostly when you buy a book, the cover's been pre-designed for you.
Yeah.
So now the opportunity is for you to carve out what...
And usually you sit and doodle in any case in the book. So
now you can doodle on the front. And then a fun thing that we've also done is these designs are actually created by an illustrator that I worked with out of Hungary, where the concept is similar to your paint by numbers.
So carved by numbers.
Yeah.
Or carved by color.
Carved by color, exactly. So instead of putting each area to be a block with a number, we just put the color directly on. So the colors on the sheet here are the same colors on the side.
And then you go deeper.
So you match the colors. Yeah. So you keep you've got the full visualization on your eyes, so you don't lose that inspiration. So you don't have to be like, what color's there, what color's there. Yeah. You just color matching.
And I remember when we spoke, we met at the private innovation summit. Was it but not at the summit? You actually mentioned that well, nice ideas. People can go like, oh, put your company logo on here and let somebody color your company logo.
Exactly, or carve out the company logo.
Carve out a company
I'm actually
logo.
looking at working with a company at the moment, seeing if the offer goes through, but where this company has also neurodivergent and employees that are on the spectrum. And the idea for this is when you're someone that's on the spectrum, you're normally someone that's going to be data or behind a computer most of the time because you're not people's strength isn't there. Yeah. People pleasing. So they tend to not also have the right kind of outlet. So you're not going to see them normally getting into the gym. But if they do, it's a 3-hour ordeal because you have to drive to the gym, you have to get dressed, you have to come back, you have to shower, you have to eat. So the amount of time it takes out of your day to go and do it takes out a lot. So the concept of this also is to use this for moments of stress, anxiety during your day, or when your brain is just feeling messy. Pull out the sheet and just carve out the company logo, carve whatever you want to. Use it as a rage page, just to vent yourself, and you'll start to find flow just by doing lines. I mean, can actually do lines at work and not go crazy.
Not get fined.
Not get fined.
No, I mean, and look, guys, and we'll put the details down.
Thanks, Eric.
We'll put the details in the video description. But do yourself a favor and go check this out online. We call
Karvaura, a blend of Carve and Aura. It's a world first product. It's a product developed in South Africa, created in South Africa, and hopefully it will be a patent protected product in the future as well. And this is a platform that this is not only a product, it's a platform. Yeah, so if I have to do a little bit more of an insert on the product, is the product's only one part of this journey. There's the designs for artists to be put on. There's therapy use cases for this product. We've got other products that we're looking at coming out in the future where you can actually create your own jewelry, carve out your own jewelry, carve out your own earrings, so that it's actually something that's unique to you and not to someone else. Be like, oh, I also got the Coca-Cola earrings. Now carve out your own. And no one else can have the exact same thing as you. Yeah. And then additionally is, because it's made out of plastic, there's shavings that you obviously get from doing all the lines, but your shavings lead to savings. So we also, again, like I said, we're speaking about habits. And when we also get this product into schools, ideas, or into where people use it, the shavings lead to savings, and we want to promote people to keep the waste, store the waste, and then bring it back to us and we'll give you a rebate. And we're looking at using that waste to upcycle it and create other value added products.
That's the thing. And if you've listened to the entire podcast, this brings us back to the value of being able to be creative, to find a solution, to mull at it. And there's so many studies about the value of something like the product you have. So,
and I can truly say no piece is going to be
it's not going to be
because it's impossible.
So create your own.
Yeah, create your own. So, and that's the idea is like if you have an artist's artwork, you can buy an artist's artwork, but you can carve it out in your own style. So you're actually creating a bond not only with the art piece but also with the artist.
Yeah,
and it creates a better story to tell to your friends and family.
That's the thing.
So that's the short of the business. We'll see where we're going. We might end up doing a little bit more work with Steyn IP as well.
And that's us, by the way.
Yeah. And see where this journey goes, because the idea is also to create this for others. The idea is to supply the market with this product so other creators can create products for themselves, for others, and create a new inspiring journey for creativity. And hopefully this can also be something that inspires people to come up with new solutions and think about, I think, life a little bit differently. If you start preserving things like this, I think those habits also become something big in the future. If you teach, and I think that's also the issue, I think, with the world at the moment, is the base foundational values and the habits that we're trying to teach aren't right.
Lost, yeah.
And we don't have the confidence to make choice. We don't have the confidence that we are making the right choice for ourselves. We're trying to make the choice that's either being guided by our algorithms or through our peer groups. So I think once we can actually break away from that, I think people can really find their true creativity. If they stop hiding behind the fear of everyone else's opinions.
Yeah.
Then I think it's people like us, we're having these kind of podcasts and discussions, showing people to not be afraid of what they're trying to pursue. I mean, everything's scary, but If you don't go and find out what's scary on the other side, that's I think why you see in the movies why it's always the white person going into the scary movie. It's because they want to be stupid and find out what's on the other side. So maybe be stupid, find out what's on the other side, and
be
maybe
that one person that does the stupid thing.
Yeah, I make sure my friends always judge me for my decisions, but at the end of the day, I'm also the friend that's normally got the highest luck. It's because I can see those opportunities, and sometimes those small opportunities can turn into big opportunities.
That's true. Yeah. Because regretting not to make the move is what most people regret. Not doing something.
Yeah, because you get stuck in your mind.
Yeah,
that opportunity cost.
Yeah.
If you understand the trade-off of what you're doing at the end of the day, you'll be able to see the value that you can also create.
That's true. Final thought.
Final thoughts. I think creativity might be commoditized in the future, but I think it's also a great position for creatives to use that also as a way to come up with new creative ways to actually still have the creative market stand on its own. And I think that's going to be reliant on processes, thinking creatively on how to use AI processes for businesses. So an engineer, I think the value is going to be on prompt engineering more so, because if you can inform and delegate the right information to AI, because it's like managing, except the employee that you're managing doesn't really always talk back.
Yes.
So if you can find out how to use AI effectively and in a way where you can theorize the problems from a more creative onset, I think there's going to be a lot more value for creators in that space. And that's where I'm looking at trying to focus on process and letting people pause and enjoy the moment. I think if people can start pausing as well, they'll be able to have the moment to reflect a little bit more. Because if you're always rushing, you're making decisions on the fly, and you're not
thinking it.
You're not making it
over.
And I think that's the thing is, I want to see people taking pause in the. I didn't quite catch that. You don't need to. So yeah, I think if people can just take a moment to pause and actually reflect on the decisions they're making, and use that as a barrier to not fear creativity and art, I think they'll be surprised at the outcomes that they make. Yeah, that's mine. Any closing thoughts from your side?
Well, stay creative.
Stay creative.
In whatever manner that is. I think the main thing is, and there's everybody, if you're scared of not fitting in, remember everybody is. So you, by default, being scared, fit in. So take the leap. Yeah, make your personality, make the choice to be different. Do like Zuma did. If everyone goes right and Zuma went left, there was a reason, and that's why everyone liked him, because he made it's controversial, but from a marketing point of view. From a marketing point of view, and I think I thought about this, and we'll leave it there. Mandela said, "It's only impossible until somebody does it." Exactly. There you go. On that bombshell.